Once upon a time, Vicki was trapped by the curse of her thoughts. It had her believing she was powerless, imperfect, and weak. Then one day, the curse started to lessen, and Vicki could see a little clearer. As each day passed, her thoughts improved until she broke free. She then began creating magic in her life. Now, Vicki is getting ready to marry her Prince Charming. This is her manifesting success story. Hello and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am back with Vicki Pace for her 17th interview in her Years of Growth series. Welcome, Vicki.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you. It's been about 4 months since our last interview, so we have lots of magic to catch up on. What is awesome right now in this moment?
I started running and not in this moment, obviously, but like in general, I'm like a runner now. I've been, even when I went on vacation, I went for runs and I still am. And then last night was my very first run with my boyfriend and it was lovely. It was so cool. I just really enjoyed it. And we're going to run together tonight too. After this, there's our normal Enchanted Circle call and then I'll go out for a run. So I'm really excited about that.
Yay, that is awesome. I love it. And it all sort of just like happened, right? Like, oh, I think I'm going to be a runner, more or less.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we're going to talk about it at some point in this interview, but I didn't get cast in one of these shows I was auditioning for. And it just dawned on me like, this is my opportunity to focus to see if I'm like, if running is for me and if I enjoy it. And I dabbled in it before I moved. So I'm excited to get back into it. And I do. I love it.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to just, you just breezed right by this, like I didn't get this role and I feel good about it. So let's talk about that because it's awesome on so many levels. Like obviously it'd be great if you got the role, but I actually think there's so much going, like I can see why like you're set up to better have not got the role in this moment than even back, when you didn't get, because it's been a couple weeks since you found out, right?
Yeah, like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
I just feel like I was genuinely excited and confident when I got word that I didn't get cast. And they even sent out an official no thank you email, which is new for this company. And I didn't feel much at all.
Which is different. Actually, I was remembering, like, I feel like I want to say it was maybe 6 months in to the Enchanted Circle. Like you were like, oh, I didn't get cast and I feel good about it because it opened up some space for some other things. I meant to go back and look, but I'm just remembering.
I know what you're talking about. And I don't know which one it is, but there were 2 shows I didn't get cast in right after Pop-Ins. And one of them I ended up getting cast in later. Like they called me understudy later. And it all was great. I don't even remember why it was so great, but it was great.
That's what I remember. It ended up being great. But then there's been those times where it doesn't feel good that you haven't gotten cast, right?
Yeah. And this is not that.
Was this just a full on like, oh yeah, I knew I wasn't supposed to be, like, how does this feel when you heard about it or got the call, like got the email, I guess?
I started to get the feeling in the room, like the day of. Honestly, I had the feeling before I left. I was like, I don't think I should go to this.
Oh.
Yeah. And I just followed through and just kept my eyes and ears open and just stayed present. And I don't know. I tried to allow myself to feel sad after because I knew what was going on, but I didn't like cry much. Like I tried and nothing was coming. So I just like let it be and lived my life. And what was happening at the time? Oh, I was in a show that was ending also. So there was like a date. It was like Monday after all this stuff was going on. Like 2 days, I don't remember. There was a date. I was like, I'm going to celebrate this show in Denver ending, and either I'll celebrate getting cast in the show or celebrate not getting cast in the show, like in addition to all of those things. So, and it worked out. I mean, it was going to work out no matter what, because I was either not gonna get it or gonna get it. And yeah, bought myself a bottle of bubbly and had some, I don't remember what I ate, but the wine was good.
I love it. Probably some amazing cheese and some amazing bread.
Oh, yes, always.
Which I love it. And do you think that's how far sort of you've come in your trust, and like also not seeing that like roles, getting a role or not getting a role doesn't define you. It's just it's just part of the process.
Yeah, it is part of the process. And it's funny that I feel so good about it, because I definitely had a lot, like a big challenging growth. I mean, overall in the last couple months, but like, especially right before that audition, I was really going through a bit of a crisis that I was just not in touch with my future self through those weeks. But I got, I feel like it was the audition kind of was the catalyst of it. I just was like, this is not my future self. I need to reconnect and get back in touch. And I did, and it felt great. And I love my life.
It's awesome. And I get the job, and I still love my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think goes through some of the things. There was something you said on a call that I wrote down, and you were like, I don't have to suffer through. I can tell people what I need. But I think that whole statement is important. And that I don't have to suffer through is such a big, like, for you, like opening, like that is a huge shift, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Just, it's like owning your worthiness, but I think the way that's phrased rings a little more true for me. Sometimes worthiness exercises are a little, they're not, I mean, they are concrete, but it just depends on what you're going through at the time. If it's applicable, not applicable. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes phrases click with you and sometimes they don't. And that at that point, it was more about, I don't have to suffer through. I can speak up and ask for what I need. And I don't know, maybe it was when do you remember when I said that, what it was applied to?
I know. I wish I had written it down. No, I just was like, this is such a great statement. And it's a step like to worthiness, right? You can't be worthy of more if you're still suffering through something, or you feel like you have to suffer. Like, and I think for you, you'd come to the point where it was like, I can have what I want, but I still have to suffer to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's like, no, I can just ask for what I need and I can have it, and I don't have to suffer on my way to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's a daily, not necessarily reminder, but it's a daily and challenge. I go through that daily. Like there's always something every day that I need to remind myself, does she do this? Does she own this? Does she think this? And it's kind of fun because it's like a fun new leveling up when I do that.
I love it. What have you noticed? Like, what are you like answering yes and no to? Sort of like, I mean, you don't have to get specific, but generically, like, what are you, or you can get specific. Like, what are you realizing? Like, what's an example of the up level? They totally put you on the spot.
I know. Just any situation. And what really surprises me is just that exercise of, does she do this? And just like, no, stopping it at that and not expanding or like going into why, just no, and moving forward. It really gets you in tune with like your instincts. And it's just a really great, fast way to connect with yourself and your instincts and your future self. And the one podcast you did about bringing your future self present, but we work a little bit in the past, kind of. And that's been helpful to think of it that way. It's like it brings her here immediately in the present. So I've really enjoyed that.
Awesome. Yay. And I think that goes along with something else you said. Like, I don't have to make it work. It's more like you're getting to that point where it's like, I can just choose this, or I can just see, does she do this? No. Right. And the answer is very clear. Does she, think this? And no, it's not about suffering or making it work or any of those things.
Yeah. It's really about, that exercise is invaluable to me. I love it. I use it all the time.
Yay. That's awesome. Well, now we're very clear about your future self too. Like you've paved a lot of her work. You've gotten to know her really in depth. So I'd imagine that it's even easier because it's just a clear, like, no or yes,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. And you have a new job since we talked. Like you were just getting ready to move at the last time we talked, and you moved and you went through a lot of growth in that move, I think.
Mhm. Definitely a lot.
Looking back, what do you think is the biggest thing you took away from that growth, or the biggest way that you're different?
Um, Trusting my future life that
Mm,
I've created,
yeah.
that it's there and it's excuse me, waiting for me, and not necessarily waiting for me, but it's there and it's concrete and
Hmm.
it's happening. Um, I think that, and I've grown in my relationship through those challenges, deeper. And you and Jenny just talked about how you never imagine in a relationship that you can know someone any more differently or deeper or better until it happens. And then it's
Hmm.
really cool. And that's what I feel has happened. Like, communication is better, and it's with other people too, not just in my love life. It's relationships with other people. I'm clearer, I'm more concise, and more open to how other people communicate, and I think that's helped me immensely. Um, but overall, I'd say it's helped my trust in the vision I have for myself in my future.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Which is awesome. Which I think made it a little easier to let go. And like the next step was to get a job for some
Hmm.
reasons, right? And this is so when we do our future selves, often we we learn lessons, and then I think we come back to expand on them, like to grow in a different way. And for you, I think getting a job was that, right? It was, we had some discussions and some coaching about, like, is this going backwards, is this it not working? And it's totally it working, and it's letting you know what it feels like to have like consistent abundance
Hmm.
in a new way.
Yeah,
Is that how it feels?
it is. It is how it feels. And it's funny how it's similar to the last time, but it's so different. It's so much more up leveled. Even my interactions with the kids, it's different and deeper and better than it was last time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah. How does it feel to sort of have, and you also get like to go on vacations too, right?
Yeah. And
You get paid to go on vacation.
yeah, I just got back too. And it was so stinking cool. It was great. I've been to Taos before, but this was much different. And not only like weather wise, it was a lot different, and like I
Hmm.
had a lot more time there, but I was different. And um because I started running, and the mom of the family is a runner. Well, they're both runners. She encouraged me to go running, and she took me on a couple trail runs, which was new for me, and I really enjoyed it. And if my family knew, well, they do know, but they were like, "Vicki, go on a hike," and now I'm like trail running. They're like, "Who is this? What have you done with her?" So it's totally out of my norm, and I loved it. Um, and the vacation part of it was great. I took myself out to like a romantic dinner, and it was beautiful. Oh gosh, it was lovely. And then I went home and had delicious ice cream, and I read some really great books, and I slept in a bunch. It was so great.
Ah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
All while getting paid, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And like in this beautiful, like you had your own room with a door to like the courtyard, which is very future self. I feel like this
Hmm.
house was very, like where you were was representative of your future self, and you getting to live that.
Hmm.
And which is probably why this was the job, because you get to practice so many of these things.
Yeah, and they're talking about traveling to Europe in a couple months, and I was so excited. She was like, "Where do you think we should go for the family vacation?" And I was like, "Germany, Switzerland, all over the place." And they were like, "What about Prague or something?" And oh gosh, it would just be so cool to go travel with them, and I would just love it. And I had a couple evenings and mornings off where I was able to just like lay in bed, lounge in bed and read my book and look at it was sort of a Zen garden. It was all like a Zen winter garden. It was beautiful. So it was great.
That's amazing. I
Mhm.
love it. So fun. So you, right around the time you moved, you got to an assignment because there's future self assignments, and they're laid out right when you get to them. You get to them, and that's what you're supposed to do. And so, there was one about clothes, and it was really one of those assignments which I love when they have, because I know they're like big. When it's like this way big, like I can't do that, or this, you know what I mean? Like I know it's like a big growth coming. And I think you realized that after like you got through it and then did the assignment. Like the assignment it was about clothes and dressing like your future self and things like that.
Mhm.
And you got done and you were like, oh, like this wasn't about that assignment at all. Like, what was it about?
Um, it was about um bringing her forward and meeting her, like meeting in a middle ground somewhere, and seeing her already in my life. And I don't know if that's what we talked about before the call, but that's what just came to me now, is like seeing that she's already here and that I have her and she's within me already.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which, oh, that's like even, but I mean, so I had my notes after the call, and it was like this pause to grow into her. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't about like not moving forward, and like it was like you couldn't move forward in this time because you had to bring her forward.
Yes.
And that
Mhm.
totally makes sense, because what you were doing, and this is again part of the process, but what you were doing, I think you're saying before, is you're realizing like, oh, I was still looking like I have to get to her. I have to like get there,
Yeah.
but this was really the space to bring her and be like, oh, she's already here. I just
Mhm.
need to like enact on all these parts that are here, which you had to get to that point in order to sort of get this new job and all these things, because they have so much to do with her.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like I had like life experiences I needed to experience before I could step into wearing those outfits.
Yes.
Mhm.
Ah, so beautiful. How
Yeah.
did you feel when you were on the other side of that? How does it?
It felt like a non-entity, you know? It was
Yeah.
so like easy breezy, and like I remember it was like a flip of the switch when it was time to start it, and I just did it because it was like 3 days in a row,
Yeah.
and it was done. And I think I even like forgot to tell you about it on the next call. Like
Yeah, I think
it was
that's right.
yeah, it was so easy and like just a part of me at that point. It was great.
Which is awesome. And how does it feel to have that realization like, oh, she's already here and I'm just bringing more of her, instead of I'm like trying to get there, like to the destination?
It's comforting and quieting knowing she's already here and within me.
Oh, that feels so good.
Yeah.
It leaves a lot more space, right?
Yeah. And it leaves a lot more appreciation for where you are now, or like room for appreciation for where you are now, knowing that
Hmm.
she's in within you already.
Yeah. And you get to, I think that's part of or from an outside looking in, that's part of why like not getting that part was so easy, is like it's, you finally kind of, that click happened and it's like, oh, I don't have to get that part to get to her. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm not getting there. It was
Mhm.
like, oh, this means I can go do all this other stuff that she does and live this other part of her life.
Yeah, that's totally it. And it's like I have a lot more spare time now, and like I'm running, I'm helping finish the house more, and it's getting warmer out, so I want to garden. I'm really excited to do that.
Right.
Woo! And get a dog soon, and just so many stinking cool things. I'm really excited.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
And you recently paid off a loan. So, right?
Yeah.
Paid in full.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so cool. I keep forgetting about it. I'm really excited that it's happening.
Yay!
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Well, I think it was going to be at another year at least,
Mm-hmm.
if not more, of monthly installments. So I'm just so excited.
Yay! And my favorite part was like, okay, now that payment is going into savings.
Mm-hmm.
Like you already knew what was going to happen with it, right?
Yeah.
Which gives it the chance to like really, it's what you wanted. Like, and what I love about that is when we did your numbers maybe like 6 months ago, when we really kind of put some extra energy into figuring out your numbers and stuff, like it's that I think that allowed this to be paid off early, because it's the energy of like, oh, there's an end date. This isn't forever. This isn't the thing that I worry about forever, or is hanging over my head, or I think I should pay more on, right? Like your mind can go to that place where like, this is paid off and I'm saving this amount of money.
Yeah.
And so it can happen.
Yeah. It's really cool. It feels very grown up.
Yay!
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anything else awesome that you want to share, or just anything on your heart that you want to say?
I'm living in what quite possibly could be my dream home, that I'd never really put any energy into thinking what I wanted in a dream home. It's always been like my dream life, and sort of the home is kind of evolved around that, but this is quickly becoming like a dream house for me.
Yay! I love that. Well, and it totally makes sense, because we focus on that life. Like the house has to match that life, so it matches all the things that we want, right?
Yeah.
Ugh, I love that. I love that there was no specific vision board for it, and yet it's the dream.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's the way it works. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing this moment in your journey with us. What are you excited about in the next 60 days?
Getting my running time down, like my mile.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm gonna be doing puzzles.
Yay!
I love puzzles.
I do know you love puzzles.
Yeah. So in the next few months, I'll be doing lots of puzzles and playing board game. I'm going to teach, now that we have this dining room table, I'm going to teach my boyfriend like my big nerd tabletop game. So I'm excited for that.
Yay! That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing this moment in your journey with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening, and make sure to come back and see what else is awesome in Vicki's life next time. Oh, tell people where they can see your amazing life and check out your puppy and all that.
Best place is going to be Instagram. My handle is at Vicki, not Vicki. It's spelled VICKINOTVICKY.
Awesome. We'll talk to you all soon. The telling of stories is so powerful, both to the person telling it and the person receiving it. Since 30,000 BC, we as humans have told stories to teach and guide. And now we, with Manifesting Success Stories, hope to inspire you to what is possible in your own life. If you want more manifesting success, go to moremanifestingsuccess.com, where you'll find links to anything we've talked about on the show. Thank you for joining us today, and remember, you have the power to write your own happy ever after.